The Falkland Islands are one of the most peat-rich places on Earth, in part due to the fact that until the 18th century there was next to no influence from humans. This allowed for vast amounts of peat to build up, peat that was traditionally used as fuel. In 2002, Peat Cutting Monday was made a public holiday in the Falklands and is a tradition where people used to head out and cut their peat. Nowadays, most people use Peat Cutting Monday to celebrate the start of spring, but some still head out to cut peat the traditional way.
The first job you have to do is mark out, which is cut a line in the turf right the whole length of the bog. We usually do it in sections with a line. And then you cross rit, which is making about 9-inch bars, roughly the width of the spade, across. And they're the turfs you cut off, the top sod, and you put it down on the ground and stand on it. So you actually just lower the area. You don't actually destroy the grass, you just simply lower it down a bit. So it looks the same up there as it does down here, at least to me anyway. So it does little harm. Hand cutting does little harm to the environment, really.
Colin Davis has been cutting peat in the Falkland Islands since 1982 and is one of the last remaining peat cutters. On Peat Cutting Monday, he is the only one cutting at his bog on the side of Sappers Hill.
Well, I think it's a shame that it's gone in many ways. It was very much a unifying feature in the sort of culture, I always thought, because if you got invited somewhere, you could always talk about peat cutting at that time of year. In the sort of November, December time, everyone was saying, how many yards you got out, how's it drying? So even someone who he had nothing to do with, and maybe sort of one of these sort of heads of a department, he would also have to cut peat, and you would have something to talk about. And I think it made a bit of a link, and I think it's a shame now that not so many people bother. It's good that we try to keep it alive by sort of demonstrating, and tourists are always fascinated, of course, visitors are always fascinated by it, want to know lots about it.
And of course, it wouldn't be a Falkland Islands tradition if we didn't give it a go ourselves.
A bit further. Use your knees. Lift the spade slightly. That's it.
Maybe best to leave it to the experts though.
I remember being taken up by the first Peat officer, it was Mickey Clark at the time, and he showed me how to do it, and I sort of said, what if I can't manage this? It looks pretty sort of physical. He said, well, you'd be cold in the winter, won't it? Which is fair enough.